Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw, and I'm here with a familiar face. If you watched us last year, she was back. Angie Licea, who's the president of Global Travel Collection, which is part of Internova Travel Group. And Angie oversees some of the biggest luxury agencies in the business. And we're going to get an update on what's going on with Global Travel Collection, what the latest is, and a lot more on Insider Travel Report. First of all, Angie, the last time I talked to you, you were not in an office, you were somewhere else, but now where are you now and how are you?
I'm in our headquarters office, 1633 Broadway in New York. So we started coming back mid last year, and then we officially reopened April 4th. And so I've been here back-to-back weeks for weeks. In the office. So this is my office, and it's so great to be here with my colleagues, and it feels so right and so good. So
no, that's great. And it's too bad we could have done it in person because I was down in New York yesterday. I didn't realize you were up here.
That would have been great.
But that's okay. We're getting used to Zoom. But the next one we'll do in person.
Okay, sounds great.
Now, give us an update on Global Travel Collection. First of all, let's set the stage. What does your group now include? What travel agencies?
Yeah, so we are Pro Travel and Zell Travel, US and UK, the All-Star Group, Andrew Harper, Colette's, R. Caruso and Son, and in the No Travel, and I can't remember if I said Andrew Harper or not, but Andrew.
You did. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, you got so many, you don't remember them, right?
I know.
No, you got some of the best in the business and some of the most well-known luxury travel agencies. And now these are all wholly owned by Global Travel Collection and its parent Internova?
That is correct.
Okay, so these are ones you own, because we know that one of the other divisions of Internova, of course, is Travel Leaders Network, which is the consortium of agencies that are owned by the agencies themselves. But now, do you have any other plans to acquire other agencies and include them in GTC? Are you open to buying other agencies in the luxury space?
Yeah, so I think right now our focus is on the recovery from the pandemic, but
that's sort of taking everybody's time right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. And the business has come back with lightning speed. So just trying to keep our heads above water, which is such a great place to be considering the alternative we've been through for the last 2 years. But yeah, we're very open to acquisition. Do I have an acquisition sitting on the table right now? No, but we're always open, always looking. We have a group that is responsible for acquisitions, and we're vetting things with them all the time. Mm-hmm. So do I think that we'll add to Global Travel Collection at some point? Yes, more than likely, but nothing that's imminent at this point.
Okay, well, I can go shopping for some stuff that you'd like for you, and
okay,
we'll
sounds good.
See if we can get some deals. I'll just do a broker fee. There you go. So you got that, and you've also been adding some key executives over the past few months and some recognizable names from other groups. Can you talk about some of these key hires and what they're going to do for you?
Yeah, so we're always looking for incredible talent and looking at up-leveling our organization, up-leveling our brand. So I'm going to, hopefully I don't pronounce her name wrong, but Beth Butzlaff from Virtuoso is joining us.
That's right. I know Beth, and you did it right. So
oh, well, great, thank you. And then we have Christy Green, who's also joined us. Both are in going to be running our leisure department. We really wanted to put a lot of focus and attention into that leisure space, into the supplier space, into the GTC brand, the GTC product offering. And so that's what they'll be focused on. And then really a heavy support for our advisors in that leisure space. And then we hired Jennifer Hartnett over in the UK for our tour operations and contract manager in Colette's. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we are thrilled, absolutely thrilled with some of the recent hires, the value that they're bringing to the table and what that means to our advisor and to our partners in the supplier groups. Mm-hmm. We're beyond excited about.
No, that's great. I know you've got some good talent. I know Beth very well, and it looks like you got some other people. And then at the Internova level, last year, I think he's been there with you in a year, Albert Herrera.
Yeah, so I think if I'm not mistaken, he started the very end of February, the beginning of March.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Albert, he's been doing a great job in really helping us revamp our hotel programs and up leveling our profile in the luxury space. So again, we're beyond thrilled with the talent that's coming in and what that means for us as an organization.
Well, I know Albert he's available to all the units of Internova, not just Global Travel Collection, but
Yes.
also Travel Leaders Network, and even host agencies like Next and things like that. So I've run into him a number of times, as Albert is all around the luxury space.
He is. He's Mr. Luxury, is he not?
He is. He is. I saw him last at, I think I might have seen him sooner, but I have seen him in International Luxury Travel Market last December. And that's a place that he is always at. Now let's talk a little bit about what's going on with your agencies. What are the booking trends? You said that things are really busy. What is selling well now in luxury travel?
What isn't selling well right now? I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, capacity is so limited. Just everybody who can travel is traveling. But I think, what we're still seeing is, there's this question a year ago, will private still continue? I think there were some experts forecasting, oh no, when travel starts to return, people return to commercial, but we're not seeing that. I think even people who typically would fly commercial or go commercial in like a hotel versus a villa, they have really started to say, hey, how can we continue this? And even, Joe Blows like me have found how they can do private. If there's 4 families going private on a jet is equal to or less expensive than taking commercial. So we're seeing private really continue. Wide open space is still, people still getting out. I think even though, the mask mandates, a lot of things have lifted, people are still looking for space. They're still looking for ways that they can travel without having to worry about the person right next to them. Do they have some variation of COVID or not? So that is continuing. International travel has picked up substantially, especially not just, we have a lot of international in Mexico during the pandemic, but over the waters really opening up. People are excited about the potential of the US coming back into the US, opening up. And when that happens, holy smokes. Escapism is still big, just trying to get away. In some cases, it's just get away from where you've been.
Right.
Some cases is get away from your spouse or your kids or whatever, so doing that. We're seeing a lot in the tour space, people going to, Africa, going on safari, people, I had an opportunity recently to go to Saudi Arabia for a discovery trip and really seeing a market start to open up. Our top cities, Italy, Spain, Greece, Portugal, are all coming alive. We're seeing a lot of people going to Egypt, to Thailand, to the Seychelles, Cambodia. So, in the bucket list, James, is still huge.
No, absolutely. And I was going to ask you about destinations, but you just filled me in on Europe. Everyone says is going to boom this year and really into next year. What about cruising overall in general?
I think cruising's starting to pick up. We just need for the ships to get back in the water, all the inventory to open up. People are, I don't really get the sense that people are afraid to get on a ship because, oh my gosh, I might get sick. I think we've moved past that. I think cruising will become, once again, a very, very top target for consumers for, traveling. I don't see that going away.
No, absolutely. I don't think it will either. Now, have you seen any effect? First, the war in Ukraine, any effect on sales to Europe, especially nearby destinations, obviously like Hungary, which is the hotbed of river cruising, as we know, Poland, Czech Republic. Has there been any impact so far?
So travel in general, when the conflict or the war started, there was a bit of a drop off, but we really didn't feel it from a volume perspective because Western Europe was growing so fast. So where we did have some cancellations, it was being offset by new bookings in Western Europe. River cruising was impacted. So there were quite a few river cruises that were canceled. But for the most part, we haven't seen it as a huge deterrent. Obviously anything we had going into Russia or Ukraine was off, was off
Sure.
limits. And even the surrounding countries, we really haven't seen a dramatic impact. Now, if it escalates beyond where it is now, it starts to get close to the other borders, it goes outside the borders, we're going to have some serious conversations, and there will be some impact. But so far, volume grows week on week, and a lot of it is to Europe.
No, absolutely. I was, as I told before we started this conversation, I had just returned. I told you I had just returned from Hungary, and we certainly didn't feel it there. And that was all about river cruising. I think it might have gotten hit initially, but hopefully people will start to realize they can still book that river cruise in Budapest and elsewhere. And it's the Danube is not, even though it's only 700-800 miles away from Ukraine, it's in a different world. So hopefully that's going to remain the case. Do you see any kind of lasting impact from COVID? We did have obviously that blip in December and January with Omicron coming in, and everybody kind of paused there for a little while. We're still kind of waiting for things like the testing to go away to come back to the U.S., which now I thought it was going to be this month, but I think it might be.
I think it's going to get pushed back.
They just pushed back, as we did today. They just pushed the mask requirement on airlines to May. And I always see that as being paired. So
I agree. I agree with you completely. I mean, we were very hopeful that when it came to the 18th, it was going to be, masks off, everybody come to the US, but I think it is going to get pushed back. And, we have things like states like Pennsylvania, they're going to reinstitute their mask mandate next week. So, but I think many people, and this is just my perspective, but I think many people have come to the same sort of mindset that I have come to, and this is here to stay for the unforeseeable future, or for the unforeseen future. The fact of the matter is that there are going to continue to be variants, there are continuing to be breakouts, but we have that with everything, with the flu, with common cold. I think that if I understand correctly from the experts, with each variant, the impact to somebody long-term is diminished. Not that people aren't getting sick, I'm not suggesting that, but it's not long-lasting and as lethal as it once was. So I think it's kind of just here, and we need to learn how to live with it, because the alternative is not living at all, right? From the perspective, sitting in your house, staying there, watching TV, everybody's done that, and they're tired, and people want to go, and people want to visit, and people want to experience, and that's what travel's all about.
No, absolutely. And I know what's happening now is most people are just worried they're going to test positive and not be able to get back, and they have to quarantine. I just had when I was over in Europe for these different cruises I was on, we did have a certain percentage of people that did test positive, and they had to stay for 5 days or plus until they tested negative. And while they were not terribly sick, they still had to, engage in that quarantine. I lucked out and didn't have it. So, but they had to stay. I mean, there's nothing terrible about having to stay in a luxury hotel for.
It's like, oh, gee.
I know. Oh, gee, where do I sign up? Can you test me positive? Can you test me positive, please? But in reality, people have plans, and the next trip could be messed up. And I think a lot of people are worried about that. When this happens, when we all, we avoid and we get rid of masks on airplanes, and hopefully at the same time get rid of testing, then I think that's what ASTA and a lot of other groups are really pushing Congress for right now.
Yeah, and what we're saying to our advisors, get ready, because even we haven't completely returned to 19 numbers. Some of our advisors have come to me in the last few weeks and said March was their best month ever in the history of our companies, and so there are some amazing travel there's some amazing travel happening out there. And, we need to get ready. We need to strap on, our boots and get going, because it is going to be, we're busy. It's going to get busy, much busier once the mandates get lifted.
Absolutely. I totally agree. Now, any other trends that you're seeing in luxury travel, corporate travel, entertainment travel? I know your agencies cover all of those bases, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I think in all of those categories, the the future is beyond bright. Consumers are traveling, they're being responsible. Sustainability is a huge trend, so we just want to keep watching sustainability. I think people are wanting to travel and protect the earth at the same time. So carbon offset, what are properties doing in the sustainability? So that continues to be a big trend. In the luxury, like I said, I think that private is still very, very big. There's quite an upturn in bucket trips and going on these incredible long vacations where is maybe they were abbreviated. And we are seeing that the time between booking and traveling is lengthening a little bit,
Right.
but it's not what it was in 2018 or 2019. I mean, people are still have a pretty decent close window to the booking and the travel. In the entertainment space, I mean, goodness gracious, when tours started opening for bands and production continued, like with Netflix and other companies and all, I mean, entertainment was such a thankful piece of our business. We're so thankful for it during the pandemic because in some cases production kept the lights on, right? And it's continuing. And again, now that bands are going out and touring, we're just really so busy in that space. I mean, people are so enjoying getting back out to concerts and,
Sure.
Broadway has opened up and we have a lot of advisors who, manage the movement of production and crews and directors and things within the theater community. Symphonies are back on the road. So, and then corporate, it is returning a little bit less aggressively than the other segments. But here's the thing, again, experts were saying, oh, corporate travel won't come back. We never will get back to 2019 numbers. Like, we're not seeing that. Like, people, there is nothing like being on the road and meeting people. I mean, just hear our office open and everybody's on a high because we're together, we're working together. We can actually sit in a room and strategize. And boy, when you've been strategizing via Zoom for 2 years and now you sit in a room, and there is a difference. It is a difference being in person. So we're very, very optimistic on the future of travel and where travel is going to go. And, as long as, again, the conflict or the war doesn't get out of control and we don't have some variant that ends up causing disaster for us. Like, I think we all have a very bright future.
No, absolutely. And in terms of bucket list, my bucket list was going to Antarctica, and I did that twice. I spent my February in Antarctica because I'm crazy enough to do 2 different cruises and come home in between, which was
oh my goodness,
a little nutty, but I don't know why I did it, but I did it. And I should have just, rented an Airbnb in Buenos Aires or Ushuaia or someplace, but that somehow I didn't get around to that. But it was amazing experience that I never expected. And so I now got my 7th continent. So I'm
look
there.
at you. That's amazing.
I
Not
know.
many people can claim that. That's really amazing.
Have you done an Antarctica cruise yet?
I have not, but I know I was just talking to somebody yesterday who is planning a trip and she's so excited. And I was just like so jealous.
Well, there's so many different new offerings down there, and we were covering a lot of them this year, and we'll do more so next year. It is an amazing trip, and I'm very glad I did it. It was a bit of the expedition was in getting there, not when I was there. Once I was there, it was great. So that's an example of a kind of luxury travel that your clients are probably doing now and looking at this, because we can do so much more. Now let's turn to this whole COVID incident, the crisis. I think more than ever, it's proven the value of the travel advisor to selling luxury travel and serving luxury clientele. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that the luxury clientele always had this sense that they wanted to work with an advisor, but I think the role and the importance of an advisor became so apparent throughout the pandemic. And I believe that there are now consumers who say, I will never take a trip without an advisor. And James, we talked about this before last year. I'm so incredibly blessed and proud of the advisors. I mean, I've always said that we have the best advisors in the industry, but I can't underpin enough how deeply I feel about this. Like, they are there for their clients every moment. They're looking at every need. They're looking at all of the requirements due to the pandemic. They're still doing that. They share their expertise. They, have firsthand experiences in the destinations that people are going. And I think it's essential, right, in this space to, to utilize the advisor and the fact that these guys are working 24/7 on behalf of their customers. I mean, they're really ultra committed and dedicated to the overall experience of each of their consumers. It just blows my mind how much they care and what they do.
No, and I totally agree. They really, it's another one of the biggest incidents or crises ever to hit the world, and it once again proved the value of a great travel advisor as we head into the future. And I think the industry is emerging stronger than ever. We had a tough few years, 2 years there to get everybody through this. But I know from our perspective, we're seeing everybody coming back in and engaging with our website, Insider Travel Report. So we think everyone's back. We just have to get everybody else back on board on the supplier side too. So is there anything else you want to tell us about Global Travel Collection, about the luxury market?
Well, do you have about 2 hours? Because
yeah, sure. Let's just we'll make this a regular series and we'll go on from there. Okay.
We'll call it the James and Angie show.
I like that. I like that. I think we can sell that one.
Yeah, just a call, to the forefront, the strength of our collection of iconic brands. I think that our brand identity embodies an organization that's reinventing itself. We're looking to do things differently. We're not looking at circa 2008, right? And we're looking at the future. What is the future of travel, and how do we help drive the future of travel? How do we elevate our brand? I think, when you look at the lineup of the brands in our organization, I mean, it really does represent the best of the best that's out there. As I talked about, our advisors being so influential in their support of not only their customers, but also the suppliers that we're selling. Our scale is phenomenal. When you look at our peer group, what we represent in volume to our peer group is amazing. And when you look at the suppliers, they could go to 10 different advisors, or they could stop with us once, right? Why not go to the place where you can go once? So I think that's huge. And we continue to evolve. Like, we are not, two of our pillars, one is progressiveness or progress, and the other is relevance. And so everything that we do, we look to be relevant. We look to progress. We are not satisfied with being the same old stagnant agency. And so how do we do that? How do we progress? How do we make things better? How do we make things different for our employees, our advisors, and the consumer?
No, absolutely. Well said. Where can our viewers go to find out about Global Travel Collection? I think when we talked a year ago, you were still working on your website, but I think that's up and running now, right?
It is, yeah. So globaltravelcollection.com. You can also follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, powered by GTC. We're on Twitter, powered by GCC, Facebook, powered by GCC. So you can find us just about anywhere by looking at GTC or Global Travel Collection. We're on standby waiting for great advisors who want to join us, suppliers who want to partner with us, and consumers who want a great experience.
No, that's fantastic. And Angie, it's been great to catch up with you again. Next time we will do this live, because I actually was in New York the other day, and I was thinking, I didn't know whether you were still down in Florida or you were back, you finally had come back up to the New York office. As you can see, my backdrop, which this is actually a shot of New York taken from the Walker Tribeca Hotel, where I was actually, no, it was Walker Greenwich Village Hotel, which has a wonderful view of looking north in Manhattan. So I kept this for a little while until I decide to do another backdrop. But it's been great. Next time we will do this in your offices, I hope, and we'll get to find out even more about Global Travel Collection. Again, thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.